Hello, welcome to Missing Piece, the Mystery Channel. I'm Dr. P. Today we will take a look at the tragic mystery of a ghost ship, Ourang Medan, which became a shipwreck in the Dutch East Indies or modern Indonesian waters after the mystery and horrifying death of its entire crew in the 1940s. Bodies of all crew members were found with no external injuries on the undamaged ship, which was sunken later by an unexpected explosion. How did they die? What exactly happened to Ourang Medan? What does Ourang Medan mean? Ourang means man or person in Malay or Indonesian, while Medan is the largest city of the Indonesian islands of Sumatra. Therefore, Ourang Medan means man from Medan. The story starts with a shocking radio message picked up by two American ships, City of Baltimore and Silver Star, navigating the Malacca Straits around June 1947. A radio operator on a troubled vessel sent the following message in Morse code. The message itself was divided into two parts, separated by Morse codes that could not be deciphered. The sailors who received the message insisted that the transcript meant SOS from Ourang Medan. We float, all officers including the captain, dead in chart room and on the bridge, probably whole of crew dead. A few confusing dots and dashes. Later, two words came through clearly. I died. Then there was nothing more to be heard of. When the Silver Star crew eventually located and boarded the apparently undamaged Ourang Medan in an attempt to rescue survivors, the ship was found littered with corpses, including the carcass of a dog, with no sign of life detected visually. All efforts to contact the crew failed, forcing the captain of the Silver Star to organize a search party. The moment the search party boarded, it was obvious that the messages were horribly accurate. Corpses of the Dutch crew littered the decks of Ourang Medan, and the victims' eyes stared wide with horror, with their faces twisted in terror. Their arms had tried to fight against something. Dead bodies were described as frozen and badly frightened faces upturned to the sun above, with mouth open and eyes staring straight ahead. Not even the ship's dog escaped from the terror of whatever that had happened. The dog was discovered to be snarling at the source of horror. The captain was found as suspected on his bridge. The remainder of the bridge officers were found in the wheelhouse and chart room. The radio officer who presumably sent out the message was found at his station. The engineering crew was also found at their stations with precisely the same expressions on their faces. During the search effort, the rescue party noticed several things that were unusual. The local temperature was very hot, with the high above 38 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but members of the team felt an ominous chill coming from somewhere. Another mystery was the conditions of the victims. No injuries were found on the bodies, and they also appeared to decay quicker than normal, which could have happened if the body had been exposed to high temperature or a rapid change in temperature. The ship itself didn't appear to suffer from any damage. When the search party returned to the Silver Star, they quickly decided to tow Ourang Medan for salvage. Just as Ourang Medan was to be prepared for a tow to a nearby port, a fire suddenly broke out in the ship's number 4 cargo hold, forcing the rescue party to evacuate from the doomed Dutch freighter. Soon after, Ourang Medan exploded before finally sinking into the ocean, preventing any further investigation on the mysterious death of its crew. What could have caused the tragedy of Ourang Medan? There are several theories that have tried to explain the mysterious incidents. Number 1. Unsecured hazardous materials cargo. This hypothesis says that the Ourang Medan may have been involved in smuggling chemical substances, such as a combination of potassium cyanide and nitroglycerin. According to this theory, seawater could have entered the ship's cargo hold, reacting with the cargo and release toxic gases, which then poisons the crew. Later, nitroglycerin caused the fire and explosion. What are potassium cyanide and nitroglycerin? Potassium cyanide is a colorless crystalline salt that look pretty much similar to our tabletop sugar or salt. However, it's highly toxic. How toxic is potassium cyanide? The absolute lethal dosage for humans is only 200 to 300 milligrams, which means about this much of potassium cyanide would send an adult to heaven. Under ambient conditions, potassium cyanide is stable. If the crew didn't eat potassium cyanide themselves, loading this toxin on board would not have killed them. However, potassium cyanide reacts readily with water, or even moisture, and generates a toxic gas, hydrogen cyanide. Hydrogen cyanide has a scent of bitter almond, which can be smelled from people who died from cyanide poisoning. Upon inhale, hydrogen cyanide quickly binds to iron in cytochrome and prevents generation of ATP, the energy source for cell activities. Without ATP, cells will stop utilizing oxygen, start to undergo anaerobic metabolism, and generate a large amount of lactic acid, which then results in acid-base imbalance and metabolic acidosis. Therefore, if there was potassium cyanide on board, unsafe storage conditions could have caused the generation of toxic gas that took all lives on Ourang Medan. On the other hand, nitroglycerin is an explosive that becomes extremely unstable when in contact with heat, strong oxidizers, shocks, and acids. The high temperature on the day of the incident, as well as the flammable gas hydrogen cyanide, could have resulted in fire and explosion that sunk Ourang Medan. Another theory is that the ship was transporting inert gas, which the Japanese military had been storing in China during World War II, and was handed over to the US military at the end of the war. No US ship could transport it as it would leave paper trail. It was therefore loaded on a non-registered ship for transport to US or an island on the Pacific. Another theory is that an undetected smoldering fire or malfunction of the ship's boiler system might have been responsible for the shipwreck. Escaping carbon monoxide could have suffocated all crew on board. The fire slowly spread out of control, leading to the vessel's ultimate destruction. Cyanide, carbon monoxide, as well as nerve gas poisoning can all rapidly cause shortness of breath and loss of consciousness, which can explain the horror on the faces of the crew as they can sense the invisible danger that was taking their lives away. However, around the entire Ourang Medan incident, there have been a few skepticisms. The ship's accidents has appeared in various books and magazines, but the factual accuracy and even the ship's existence are unconfirmed. Details of the vessel's construction and histories remain unknown. Searches for any official registrations or accident investigation records have been proven unsuccessful. Officially, it appears that the ship has never existed. No registration record for the ship by the name of Ourang Medan can be located in any countries, including the Netherlands. The complete lack of information on the sunken ship itself has given rise to suspicion about the origins and credibility of the incident. Ship's logs from the Silver Star, a rescue ship in the story, did not show a record of such rescue attempt. Therefore, the accidents might have been inaccurate or exaggerated, or that the story itself might be completely fictitious. In contrast, those who believe in Ourang Medan's story insisted that the registration of the ship originated from Sumatra. At that time, Sumatra was a Dutch colony that formed parts of the Dutch East Indies. But there are no records to back up this theory. The Dictionary of Disasters at Sea, 1824 to 1962, has found no mention of the Ourang Medan. So now it seems like the nerve gas theory makes more sense. If Ourang Medan was indeed on a secret mission, the fewer traces it could have left, the more desirable, right? This is the end of our Ourang Medan story today. Follow our channel for more mystery stories, and see you next time.